First, I'm gonna start with simple interrupted suture. So from the name itself, it's interrupted. It is an appositional pattern because it brings wound edges directly together for best healing. It is most frequently used in skin closure, also in subcutaneous tissue to close deeper layers before skin, and more so for general wound closure. The simple interrupted suture is appropriate for many skin tissue because it provides precise apposition of wound edges, which is good for skin, fascia, and muscles. Each stitch is independent, so if one fails, the rest still hold, which is ideal for tissue under moderate tension. Therefore, it is versatile, secure, and promotes accurate healing across different tissue types. Next is a simple continuous suture. So from the name itself, it's continuous. Simple continuous suture is usually an appositional pattern. It can be used in skin, subcutaneous tissue, muscle, and fascia when tension is low to moderate. Simple continuous suture is appropriate for certain tissue because it provides quick closure of long incisions. It distributes tension evenly along the wound, reducing the risk of tissue strangulations. It uses less suture material than interrupted sutures. And lastly, it gives tight, leak-resistant seal, which is useful in low-tension tissues and internal layers. Next is cruciate, which is interrupted. Cruciate is an appositional suture pattern. It is commonly used in skin closure. The cruciate suture is appropriate in skin closure because it provides good apposition of the skin edges for proper healing. It distributes tension over a wider area than a simple interrupted suture, which helps preventing tearing, and it creates a stable closure that resists mild movements and stress on the skin. Now moving on to the lumbered suture. As what I've presented here, it's continuous. Lumbered suture is an inverting suture pattern as it turns the edges inward, commonly used in hollow organs like stomach, intestines, and bladder. The lambert is appropriate for hollow organs because it inverts tissue edges, preventing exposure of mucosa to the abdominal cavity, which lowers risk of leakage and peritonitis. It also creates a watertight seal essential in the GI and urinary tracts. And also, because of its inverting pattern, it reduces irritation and risk of infection inside the organ. Now moving on to the Cushing suture, which is very similar to the Connell suture. Now this I use the continuous pattern. Cushing suture is an inverting suture pattern. It is used in hollow organs such as stomach, intestine, and urinary bladder. It is appropriate in those hollow organs mentioned because it inverts tissue edges, places suture material outside the lumen, and helps create a leak-proof closure. It also provides a watertight closure which is essential in the GI and urinary tracts. Cushing is almost similar to Connell. They are both inverting continuous pattern used in hollow organs. The only difference about the two is that Cushing passes through the submucosa without penetrating the lumen, while Connell, on the other hand, penetrates the lumen. Next is the forward interlocking suture, which I do here in continuous pattern. Forward interlocking suture is an appositional suture pattern. It is used in skin, fascia, and diaphragm closure. It is appropriate in those areas because it provides good apposition of tissue edges, promoting proper healing. The interlocking loops make it more secure than a simple continuous, preventing the whole suture from loosening if one part breaks. Lastly, it is useful in long incisions because it is quicker than placing many interrupted sutures. Now moving on to horizontal mattress suture, which I do here in continuous. The continuous horizontal mattress can act as an appositional pattern, but in practice, it often causes eversion of the wound edges. It is commonly used in skin, fascia, and areas under tension. It is appropriate in those areas because it provides strong tension relief, so it is useful where skin edges might otherwise pull apart. It also helps prevent suture from cutting through fragile tissues. The last but not the least is a vertical mattress suture, which I do here in a continuous way. The vertical mattress suture is primarily an appositional pattern, but it often produces slight eversion of wound edges. It is commonly used in skin closure and sometimes fascia or areas with high tension. It is appropriate in those areas because it provides excellent tension relief, preventing wound edges from gapping. It also ensures precise edge apposition with a bit of eversion, which is ideal for skin since natural contraction during healing flattens the edges. And it reduces the risk of the suture cutting through delicate tissue because the tension is distributed deeper.